Hey guys, what's up? About to go over some train checks right now, actually. I took those at 45. Today we're going to be reviewing my Mercedes 560 SEC after I lowered it and give you guys driving impressions. And you can watch me the whole time while I talk about it driving the car. Now, this car, let me close the sunroof so we get less noise in here. Okay, so this car, when I first bought it, maybe like 4 or 5 years ago, had the factory SLS suspension. It worked pretty good, but it had that thud in the trunk, you know, like that when you go over a bump, it's ka-thunk. Now, all that for me was the shock bushing on top of the shock, where it mounts to right behind the seat at the top. I just replaced the shocks as I needed it, because I was doing basically an SLS delete. So what I did was I took shocks and springs for a 380 SEC, which I bought as a parts car, and I swapped the 380 SEC springs into this with the single nub spring pad isolators, the rubber pads for the springs, and it rides like it does now, and you can see from some of the B-roll what it rides like. Now, the wheels in the back have a little bit of camber to them that I don't like, and I'm either going to align that out or I'm going to raise it just a little bit more and put like the 2 nub pads on it. But as of now, in the rear, it's only 380 SEC stock springs, and then the shocks from a 380 SEC I just ordered from like FCP Euro or something for like 40-50 bucks a piece. When you go with the non-SLS shock absorbers, they're so much less expensive than the SLS ones. Those SLS ones, the hydraulic, man, they are expensive. And then in the front, what I have done is I have the H&R lowering springs. I'll put some B-roll in here of the springs that I use, but they are like 1.5 inch drop. For a while, I rode around with the with just the rear 380 SEC springs and the stock springs up front, but it just looked real cattywampus, and it had like a little bit of a rake to the front where there was like a 1.5 to 2 inch gap above the tires, which just looked odd because the rear sat pretty low with that 1 nub isolator. So I fixed that. I put the H&R springs in, and I'll tell you what, I've lowered other cars before. I've lowered my 92 Camaro. I've lowered my 2002 Trans Am. I've lowered an old Acura Integra I had. I've lowered, what else have I lowered? I don't know. I've lowered some cars. Every time I lower a car, generally, the ride gets real rough. The ride gets real harsh. This is the complete opposite. Now, that could be just from like refreshing the rear shocks and stuff like that and buying new stuff. But the H&R front springs, they feel so nice. They're not like, I don't know, like handling wise. Here's the thing also. I'm about to go over some railroad tracks, and I'm the car in front of me slowing down. I can do 35. And there's a little bit of a bump there, but nothing crazy. But anyways, I'm not, when I'm lowering my cars or when I'm driving my cars are not hot rods. I don't drive them around like really fast. I also don't like try to like corner carve and like make them handle really well. All I'm doing with my cars is making them very comfortable to drive, and I have like this fleet of old cars that I drive around as daily drivers, and I just alternate between them so I don't ever get tired of them, and no car really racks up any significant amount of mileage. So I'm not like turning this car into a track demon or trying to quarter mile it or anything like that. This is just a daily driver car that I cruise around to get groceries and run my errands in. So keep that in mind. This is strictly for just street use. I'm not going to talk about track use because I don't track this car. But this car rides so nice with these lowering springs on. And I expected the worst. And man, it is amazing. Now, again, a caveat here, that could be just because my rear SLS stuff was like going out slowly. And when I refreshed the rear, it just made it a lot nicer. That's possible. But generally when you lower a car with like lowering springs, the ride gets rougher. And I kept the same shocks in the front. I didn't do the Bilstein B8s that everybody says to do. Everybody says, get the Bilstein B8s. I didn't do that. But this car, I would put this up against an SLS Mercedes. One of these cars with the SLS in it. And I would almost put money that this rides better. And you can see from watching me drive it here, it is just cruising beautifully. Now, some people will have a problem with the fact that I deleted the SLS. There are Mercedes purists out there. I'm sure you all know there are Mercedes purists. It's like having a Porsche and LS swapping a Porsche or something in 911. People just get upset about it. I don't know why. I've never been a purist. I've never cared about a numbers matching car. I just don't care. If it's better, it's better to me. Like subjectively, if it's better in my experience and it drives better for me, then I like it. So I don't care about deleting the SLS. If the SLS is a lot more maintenance and people say that it like rides better, I don't think so at all. The only thing the SLS does is like if you put a bunch of stuff in the trunk, it like self levels the suspension back to normal. That's all it does. It doesn't like, it's not like Magna Ride where it does this adjustable magnetic fluid stuff or anything. It's nothing crazy like that. It's literally just a system that has, and it's all very mechanical. There's a bar in between like your sway bar thing and then the SLS actuator. And then when your load goes down, it senses it and it pumps it back up. It's just a weird mechanical thing. I mean, really, it's actually a nice mechanical system. Like, it's cool, but it's stuff that has to be serviced, and it's stuff that can fail, and you have to fix it. Whereas just springs and shocks, yeah, they fail every once in a while, but to fix it is like $100, you know? Get a new spring or get a new shock. But I'm telling you, this ride's so amazing. I was expecting such a harsh ride, and I couldn't be happier with this. This somehow rides, to me, better than the stock springs. Not, and I'm telling you, better like floatier and comfortable, and like you don't feel a bunch of like bumps or anything. Some people, when they think of better suspension, they think that it corners better or something. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about this car just rides beautifully, like an old Mercedes, in my opinion, should be. It should just be just a car that cruises around and it's super comfortable to ride around in. That's my opinion. Let me know what you think about this lowering setup. To me, it's been amazing. I haven't had a single issue with it. And if I did have an issue with it, like a shock goes bad or something, I could just replace a shock for $60 or something. And then, like, if I really want to go all out, what I can do is get the Bilstein B8 shocks, and I can put those on the front if I really want to upgrade it a little bit. But I don't know if that makes it more sporty, because people say it's better, but I don't know what they mean by better. Do they mean like better, like it handles better and it's stiffer? I don't want stiffer. I want a nice loosey-goosey, bouncy, flouncy ride, okay? So if I was going to review this suspension setup, this is the best lowered car I've ever had in my life. My Camaro is lowered like 2 inches, rides like crap. Not like crap, but the Camaro never rode that great to begin with. So you can't expect a lot. These rode pretty great from the factory, nice and smooth, and, you know, Mercedes luxury ride. And these H&R lowering springs, I couldn't speak more highly about them. I'll link them down below in the description for you to check out. Let me try up here. I'll take a corner kind of quick and see how it feels when I'm handling. I don't know what you, like when you're looking at handling, what you judge it by, like body roll maybe. I think people judge it by body roll. So we'll kind of take this corner fast and we'll see what it does. I got a corner coming up. He's coming, okay. I mean, there is body roll there. Not a lot of body roll, but there was definitely some body roll. I don't know. I'm not judging this based off of how it corners. I'm judging this based off of how it just kind of floats down the road. Like, I don't have to like stop and go 10 miles an hour over railroad tracks. It's great. And it only lowers like 1.5 inches in the front, where I don't have to like worry super bad about like hitting parking stops or exits out of parking lots I have to take at an angle or anything. So it's driving a lowered car, but it's not as crazy as like my Camaro or my Trans Am, where I have to be more careful with how I drive them. It's like lowering a car to a really good ride height, and it's like you don't have to worry about it, because generally lowered cars are harder to drive. This is great and easy to drive. Anyways, that's it, guys. Again, let me know your thoughts, what you think. I hopefully this is coming from a perspective that some people will appreciate, because when I look at cars and people talking about lowering them, they're always talking about like how they handle. I don't care how it handles. feels one bit. I care how it rides smooth and it's not all bumpy. So if that does something for you, hit a thumbs up. You can subscribe to the channel if you like these old videos. I do old car videos and stuff. You can leave a comment down below again. Like I said, if you have any questions or comments about what I should do or what you think, what you've done in the past, or whatever, what you think about the Bilstein V8s. Tell me what you think it really feels like. Does it make the ride tighter? Does it make the ride more bounce? I don't know. Whatever. Anyways, that's it, guys. Have a great day. Bye.